There we go. Had a little bit of trouble with the stream there for a second, but everything should be lined up now. Alright, welcome to Dominate Dominion number 101. I'm going to be your caster today. My name is Fancy Wolf, many of you know me, and casting alongside me today, I have Hipeoples.
Hello everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're having a nice day and can wind down and look forward to some good Dominion matches.
Oh yeah, we're going to get this rockin'. First off, we are going to have round one, and it is going to be noobBAG and friendz versus Williaf Gaming. noobBAG and friendz is going to be on the left blue team, and Williaf will be purple team on the right.
The bans we have for today were Poppy, Lulu, Taric, and Kha'Zix. And going into this match, we see Yasuo, Thresh, Vi, Wukong, Kassadin, and one more ban coming out for the purple team.
Yeah, let's see what they decide to ban last. And then our chat bans as well were Poppy, Lulu, Taric, and Kha'Zix.
Looks like the last ban we're going to have is Nidalee.
Yeah, that
LeBlanc up for the blue team.
Yeah, that LeBlanc being really, really strong right now with BFT. Actually kind of taking over Kassadin's... oh, I guess not. We're going to be seeing a Twisted Fate. Okay, I think they're just trolling at this point. So we'll wait for that timer to tick down to see what he actually locks in.
Meanwhile, we can go talk about why a couple champions are banned as we see LeBlanc actually being locked in his first pickup.
Yeah,
so Fancy, why do you think Yasuo is banned? Is he a strong pick in Dominion?
For a while he actually was. He was able to start off bot lane, you know, he could get that farm, he could get those items, and he could just turn into such a late game terror by running up top with his items and completely annihilating teams. Since the nerfs have come through, we haven't seen too many Yasuo bans, but I could still see some teams being a little afraid to fight him.
We go into the second ban that we see, and we see Thresh. Now, recently Thresh has gotten a pretty significant buff. His soul gain for kills and in general has been increased by ×4. Do you think he's a ban-worthy champion now, or is he just A-class?
I think he's really, really strong. It really starts to show... He's one of the only champions on Dominion that actually snowballs at this point, because when he's able to stay alive and farm the lane and get those souls, he can become incredibly tanky. He ends up having like 200 plus armor and AP at the end of the game, and his on-hit from the Flay passive is so strong. A lot of teams haven't quite adapted on dealing with him yet, so I'm sure they're just banning him to be safe.
It looks like two pickups that we see for purple team are Jarvan and Leona. Both very strong initiating champions and strong throughout the entire game. We have the attack speed aura that Jarvan gives, and we see them holding 2 exhausts.
Oh, you can't talk about summoners yet. Gotta wait till the timer's down. But yes, Jarvan and Leona, they are really, really strong picks right now in Dominion. They have that good hard engage. Jarvan can keep things locked down in the Cataclysm and keep things away from the back line. It's a lot of CC to deal with, and it's a lot of front line, so we'll see what they decide to polish off the rest of the comp with in that sense. And then they are going to be picking up Renekton+Pantheon. Pantheon actually still being a very strong pick in Dominion. His nerfs have not come through yet. We might see quite a drop in play when that comes through. And then Renekton tends to have a little bit of trouble with his Fury management up top, but he is a very, very strong bot lane pick all the same. And then looks like they're going to be picking up Kayle+Annie on the other team there.
So it seems like we have a very AoE wombo combo centric team for the purple team. We've got an Annie ult, we have Kayle ult to protect the Jarvan when he goes in, and Leona initiate. Do you think they're going to be going for a lot of picks in the jungle, just trying to man mode their way through with the power of stats?
Well, with the type of comp they're running right now, if Leona or Jarvan is paired up with Annie or Kayle, and they essentially split into groups of two or even into a full four-man, they're going to have a really effective dueling comp and all-in comp with a full team fight. So they're going to be looking really strong whether they're separated or all together.
It also seems like Purple Team is saving their counter pick for their bot lane as their last pick. Is this a common occurrence in Dominion?
Yeah, normally when you are the purple team, you want to save your final pick for your bot laner. That allows you to look at the enemy team's picks, decide who is going bot, and accordingly pick against that to help you get that big advantage in that bot lane. And it does look like they're going to be picking up Ziggs+Zilean on blue team here. Not Zilean seen quite often on Dominion in some of the lower MMRs and sometimes in tournament play.
It seems like we have a lot more poke on the left side of the team. They have the blue hard commit with LeBlanc and with Pantheon. But which person do you actually think is the bottom laner for blue team, as we say Zed being the pickup on the purple team? That's their last pick.
So we do know Zed is going to be bot lane on the purple team because they are picking him last there. I don't know, actually. It could be Zilean. We have seen bot lane Zilean work very effectively. Sauron plays a very mean bot lane Pantheon. Ziggs is a great 1v1 solo laner with his ultimate to help up top. And as we mentioned earlier, Renekton is completely, he's a lot stronger bot lane than he is top. So we'll see what they decide to do. It's kind of a toss-up.
Now, overall team comps, who do you think wins this game in pick and ban?
When it comes to team fighting, I would definitely have to give it to the purple team. They have a much stronger all-in, and they have a much stronger dueling composition. But on the other hand, blue team has some really good picks with that Pantheon and LeBlanc. They're going to be able to catch something out of position and just instantly blow it up.
Now, lastly, do either of these two teams that we see here today have any prior experience in Dominion, or are these two teams fresh off the beat and new to dominate Dominion?
I believe Purple Team was actually here last week. Blue Team was here last week. I remember playing against them in the tournament, and they were relatively new, so this will be their second week coming back. Purple Team does have a lot of past Dominate Dominion players, as well as a few well-known names. Williaf hosted the Sunday Dominate Dominion tournament for a little while there. So, and as we do hit to the 3-minute mark, we can reveal the summoners. And looking like some interesting choices here over on both teams.
We have Annie seeming to be packing Ignite instead of Flash. That seems to be a is that a personal preference thing, or is that the standard for Annie these days in Dominion?
Normally, it depends on what your comp is and what you're going against. Normally, you would run Exhaust. Ignite is always good to have for the extra kill power. Flash is also amazingly good on Annie because of the ability to flash Tibbers onto the enemy team. But Zed also bringing Flash. I haven't quite seen that too often, but he might be just using it for that extra mobility with his shadow play.
Now, see, I would be led to believe that the Zed thinks he's going up against the Ziggs 1v1 bottom if he was taking Flash, because against the Renekton, it's not going to be that useful of a summoner spell. So I would think he thinks he's fighting one of the Zilean, either the Zilean or the Ziggs bottom. Would you be inclined to agree?
Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense. If he's trying to gap close onto those AP casters who are just sitting way back farming and poking him down, that Flash will help him get that extra gap close and allow him to finish off the kill. So that will actually be very useful for him. And Ziggs actually opting to run Ghost. That's a very interesting choice. I guess he wants to get that mobility to stay on or get away from targets, get away from ganks, and just kite back, because Ziggs is very scary once he starts getting that kite going. And we are about a minute loading into the game here. I'm still very interested, because we don't know for sure if it's going to be Ziggs. Renekton can bot lane. Have you ever played Renekton bot? I know you play bot lane quite often.
I have played Renekton bot, and I would say Renekton would be a very good bot laner in this sense, because Renekton is very bulky. He has a lot of base damage. He has innate sustain, and I would go so far as to say Renekton is a very good counter pick against Zed for the majority of the game.
Yeah, assassins tend to have a very difficult time dealing with bruisers of any kind in bot lane. I've played, Talon into Lee Sin or Talon into multiple bruisers bot lane, and it is a very difficult matchup to try and deal with. until you can get later into the game where you can start blowing them up instantly. But
One-
Renekton isn't quite the type of champ to let that happen.
One of the things that I was doing throughout this short delay period is quickly going through the runes and masteries that we saw. And I found it very interesting that the Zed is opting to run 8.5 AD reds and movement speed and quintessences, not opting for any armor pin, but he is running flat defenses. Do you think that's the right decision, not running any armor pin or any extra AD from quintessences? Or do you think he is taking the right choice and went for move speed instead?
Well, if he is going to be going against the Ziggs bot, like we're guessing, then it would actually be a very good idea to take that, because he will be able to keep on to the Ziggs. If he's against Renekton, not having that armor pen is going to hurt him quite a bit, so he's kind of taking a little bit of a gamble with that. He knows for sure that it is going to be the Ziggs bot. Alright, and
So how do you feel about the skin choices over here? We have Galactic Renekton and Glaive Warrior Pantheon for the blue side, and we have Warring Kingdoms Jarvan and Aetherwing Kayle. Do you think these are good skin choices, or do you have any particular favorites?
I think Aetherwing is one of the better Kayle skins. I think it's definitely on par there with a lot of the other legendary skins. And then, oh dear, I think we lost some FPS, Captain. Alright, so let me finish off. Adjusting the stream here. Okay.
Welcome to the Crystal
We
Skull.
may have to do a small restart after the game closes out, because our frame rate has totally taken a drop. But let's see here. We do have pretty standard items coming out for everyone. LeBlanc actually opting for a blasting wand over the Prospector's Ring. Prospector's Ring did get nerfed recently, so a lot of APs have been looking for alternatives to pick up. So
We have Leona opting for a very early Giant spell. Do you think that's going to be put towards a Randolin or a Sunfire Cape?
most likely a Sunfire Cape.
And it seems that we do actually have the Kayle going bottom for purple team,
Oh,
along with the LeBlanc for blue team.
well, they definitely juked us out with that one, so that is going to be very, very different than what we were anticipating.
Now, I'm very interested to see the Zilean start Spell Piece Edge and Ionian boost, along with the Zed starting Giant spell. There's some very interesting builds, and we'll see how they pan out later into the game.
Yeah, Zilean will be able to get some extra gold because he does have that poke with the bombs, so we'll see how that plays out.
Red team has captured the drill.
We have Jarvan going in with a nice EQ on the Pantheon, but he's quickly stunned up by the Renekton and the Pantheon as the damage goes and fades out. The Jarvan quickly falls.
Yeah, Jarvan does go down pretty quickly there, and Zed trying to get out of there alive. Leona getting held back. I don't know if she's going to be able to get out of that one, and they are going to be able to polish her off and very convincingly take that windmill. But Jarvan does come back in. He will be able to take down the Pantheon there.
Blue team has captured the windmill.
Jarvan continually trading damage, but he gets double bomb, but he seems to be going to be able to pull out this Renekton before dying.
Very nice play right there by him. And, ooh, Zed, you were very low. Be very careful about that Ziggs. He's going to be able to drop a bomb on you, and you will be hurting. But it looks like they are going to back off of this windmill. It looks like they're going to try to heal up. No revives being popped, however, for blue team.
Blue team opting to save their revives, and LeBlanc being pushed in very, very early by the Kayle, who might be basing or going to roam.
It looks like she's going to head up to the Speed Shrine. Alright. And no, she's not going to go base. She's just waiting to see if she can bait something out. And it looks like Pantheon is actually going to be switching into bot lane. And I figured out the frame rate problem, so I'm going to turn all these graphics back up to maximum. Sorry about that, stream. Okay.
We have Jarvan going for a very quick pick on LeBlanc in middle. He got a very good EQ over the top of her head. As she is now fleeing back to top point.
Are they going to be able to finish off this kill, though? Oh, the CC just too strong there. Zilean slowing down Zed, and the Tibbers coming out. Renekton sitting in the front line trying to take all the damage for his team, but he is just so big right now. He might actually... Oh, the Zilean ult saving him and bringing him back.
Blue team seems to have a very good handle on these early game team fights as we see them about to clean up one more as Zed ults and is going to pick up this LeBlanc and he might also get away.
He will be able to finish her off, and oh, the Zilean slow is so strong. Can he get away from these guys? His shadow is going to be back up, so he will get out just fine.
Both casters running out of mana by the end of that exchange, and we see Renekton still pushing up top very, very far, which is going to have to be taken care of before another push can happen towards the windmill.
Yeah, with all those minions right there pushing onto the tower, it will be neutralizing that midpoint if not taken care of.
Oh, we see in the bottom lane, Kayle going to get a neutral on this Pantheon and seems to be handling her lane very, very well.
Yeah, and she does have ult up right now, so if she does want to all in, and back up top actually there is a fight going on. Annie is not here for this though, and Zed just gets blown up immediately. They're going to need to back out of this as fast as they can.
The red team has captured the quarry.
There's a very, very nice Leona ulti, but as you said, the Annie was not present, so there was not a very good follow-up, and they just got turned around on 4v3.
Oh, LeBlanc getting a little too close there. She is going to go down, and Annie barely surviving there with almost no HP. In the meantime, Kayle was able to capture bot. She is now up top helping her team while Pantheon is getting that point back.
A good satchel charge by the Ziggs is going to stop the aggression from the Kayle, and she is going to go base. And it seems like we're going to have a reset once again. This Kayle seems to be a real thorn in blue team side in the bottom lane. They just do not have an answer for it.
Yeah, she was trashing all over the LeBlanc, trashing all over the Pantheon. They're going to have to either devote some ganks down there while defending top, or do their best to just maybe let her have the point and capitalize on taking mid. Alright, and it seems like red team's gonna try to set up a jungle gank here. But did Pantheon just... He did! He ulted over to the enemy mid lane to try and take it, and take some pressure off of top.
This Pantheon is buying his team an incredible amount of time, and I'm surprised he has yet to get caught as we see the EQ come over his face.
Yeah, and they're going to be taking him down. An exhaust blown as well. Hopefully they don't need to use too much more to take him down. He is just not going down. That Giant's Belt and Cutlass keeping him alive for so long.
Zed with a bad shadow being very, very manly, and they're going to opt to fight this 3v4. Renekton's blowing ult.
Yeah,
we have a Ziggs bomb off the top, and Renekton is deleted. Zed also goes down, with Jarvan going very, very low, as Ziggs being chased off by Annie and Leona. He gets exhausted, and he will not live.
Oh, Zilean getting the bomb onto Jarvan and then popping his ult at the last second does manage to stay alive. Annie may be able to clean that up, but Leona is capping top. Meanwhile in bot, Kayle blowing her ult to try and keep the LeBlanc first down, but LeBlanc decided not to all in. Very nicely done right there.
We also see some of the builds shaping up. Leona going for Sunfire Cape. Jarvan has finished his early game Brutalizer along with Ninja Tabi, feeling like the Renekton and the Pantheon are much of an issue, as we see Zilean and Pantheon engaging on this Leona on top of her own point. Seems like she will go down momentarily.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage going down on Leona, and even though she is super bulky and mega tanky, it is just too much to deal with 3-on-1. And it looks like they are going to be able to keep this point defended. Kayle and... Oh, that Q is just hitting so hard, but is Kayle going to be able to survive? No. And trade 1-for-1 down in the bot lane.
The 1-for-1 happens in the bot lane. We have 3-man push on the 3 with the Pantheon opting for backcap shenanigans once again. He's going to pull the Leona that has just came up off revive while his team is fighting for the top point that's going to be neutral by minions.
Yeah, those minions pushing onto the wave, they didn't clear them fast enough. There's a silly fight going on over there at mid. But are they going to engage on this top? I do see the Tibbers out, and it looks like they're backing off. That must have done just enough damage to push them back.
Well, that is what we call a zoning Tibbers that was thrown out here today, trying to make sure that they can get this point without much effort having to be expended.
Yeah, so they throw the Tibbers down to... Ooh, Jarvan just going right in. The ult going down onto Renekton so he can be ham as ham as he wants to. And he does go down, but he will come back up with that full fury. That Cole coming out. The Ziggs bomb. Oh, man. The turnaround is real.
It was a beautiful EQ by that Jarvan, but when you have a Zilean on the team, you really have to question engaging as hard as he did, as the Leona is now coming in for cleanup.
Yeah.
And Pantheon ulting into the bot lane. Bot lane is still traded, but Pantheon got the kill on Kayle.
Yeah, and it looks like Kayle is going to blow her revive, as Zed is coming up as well, so they're going to be able to defend that point no problem. But Leona here is sitting on minimal HP with two very strong Oh, there she went.
We do see Annie and Jarvan making quick haste to come up to this top point to try to contest it, and the Renekton is just going to be a man, very tanky with his ultimate, and fight the both of them.
Yeah, the BFT did go out from Annie, but a little late there. It did manage to finish him off, but can Jarvan get this 2v1? I don't know if he will be able to finish that off.
And Pantheon back at his antics again at the midpoint.
He is just doing so good with this backcapping here, and just taking up so much time. And the Zed ult is going to be blown for this, so they will not have it in the next engage.
And we see an engage in the bottom lane. Kayle with one Q auto took LeBlanc down to half HP, but she is going to get this neutral.
Oh.
And LeBlanc gets to pick up the return kill, sneaking in a double mimic.
That BFT double Q, that really hurt. And they are going to be able to get top neutralized. Kayle still applying such good pressure bot lane. Even though she went down, the point did get neutralized, and LeBlanc isn't going to be able to do anything about that. So she has to get the point back. Kayle's going to be back up in time. And up top, they are actually going to be going in and engaging.
Zilean opting to ult himself after getting a lot of good pre-bomb poke on that Annie. And the three-man Ziggs along with the bomb, it seems like at the end of this fight, blue team has come up with a lot more damage and should be able to take this point without too much trouble.
Yeah, they did only lose a Zilean out of that, so that wasn't too big of a loss when all your damage dealers are still up and ready to go. And Jarvan is going to try to valiantly hold that top, but will fall down. And Pantheon, again, over here at mid, I think he was just still chasing Zed. And does manage to take him down.
Blue team has captured the William.
We do have Kayle capping the bottom point again with LeBlanc blowing her mimicked R in order to clear out the wave. Pantheon, on the other hand, is probably going to die another valiant death at the midpoint with the team pushing up.
Yeah, but again, he's stalling for time. He even has those boots of mobility, so he can get back over to the midpoint faster and keep distracting the enemy team. Oh, and LeBlanc might actually be going down. Very nice Kayle ultimate there, blocking all of the BFT and burst damage.
Meanwhile, we have Jarvan landing a second EQ combo on the Ziggs at top, who gets Zilean ulted, and Leona ult is also burned on him.
Oh, and it looks like Zilean is going to be going down because he did use... Oh, Jarvan trying to ult there. Jarvan's ultimate damage does not come through until a second after the Cataclysm is up, so if you use it near death, sometimes the damage will not go all the way through. And actually, Renekton sitting down here against the Kayle, just holding that lane.
Comes down on the top point, chunks Zed down to half, so they will still hold top point for the time being, as LeBlanc and Renekton trade out.
Yeah, that was a very nice play there. So they are going to be able to keep this point. Ziggs is getting up there as fast as he can. The exhaust down onto Annie. Oh, taking so much damage, and there's a full health Ziggs here. Here comes the bomb, and that is going to hurt really badly. Oh, the satchel charge for the kill.
Ziggs has been doing a lot of work for his team. Red's team has not gotten any magic resist for their top comp other than one Abyssal Scepter on Leona, and he is just chewing through them bomb after bomb with his cap.
Yeah, I wouldn't be very surprised to see him at the top of the damage charts at the end of this game here. He has just been doing so much work.
Now we do see them pressuring, 3v2 on this midpoint, but the Kayle has recalled and the Zed is now present, making it a 4-for-3 for purple team.
And they are maybe... Oh, they were going to get that Zilean. He did pop the ult before Tibbers came down, but Renekton taking so much damage, Jarvan is going to be able to clean that up. And Zilean going to try to get away here, and he's going to run right into a Jarvan. Very nicely done, and going back down to the Ziggs and Kayle here. I think Kayle should win this. Oh, she has ult. Oh, but the Ziggs has Zhonya's. Oh, the satchel for the win.
With the outplay. The Jarvan with the Cataclysm on the Pantheon on point. Pantheon is going to get the Annie before going down, but Quest will go to blue team.
Very nicely done. And yes, blue team did manage to get bot point in all of that mess. And so top will be back under control of red team, but blue team is still holding that 3-point lead. And Leona actually blowing ultimate on the LeBlanc there, and then realizing, oh no, this is a LeBlanc, I think I need to run.
LeBlanc looked like she may have DC for half a second, but she was not going to get killed because of it. She did.
She stopped moving for half a second there, and then decided to, once she reconnected, like, oh, I should probably run.
And we do have a very, very interesting build decision on the Zilean. He has picked up a Machiavel's Terrible, and he has been using it on his melees that get hit by Tibbers in the majority of the team fights. Very, very good play on his part.
Yeah, that Crucible is really powerful, especially when you have such a heavy CC team like the Leona and the Annie, able to just lock down entire teams, and the Pantheon ult is coming down.
The on ult comes in with the Ziggs+Zilean. Two people are deleted instantaneously as Jarvan tries to make his way out of this absolute mess that has occurred in the top lane.
That exploding man drop was something to see. That was just so much damage. Pantheon's ultimate doing more the closer you are to the middle of it, and then the Ziggs bomb just chewing through the rest of the HP. And is Jarvan good to be able to get out of this?
Well, Jarvan might get out of this, but Leona definitely is not. The perma-slow from the Zilean and the Ziggs bombs are just chewing away. As the Jarvan gets away, no, he doesn't! Pantheon jumps on top of him, and he is probably going to die in his sins as well.
He just pulled a fancy wolf, trying to go be on the speed shrine, and then getting caught out.
Kayle and LeBlanc trading in the bottom lane with blue team's pushing, and blue team is still up here fighting over this, fighting over the drill. Zilean ult being popped. It's still a 2v2.
Yep, and Zed using that flash to try and get some distance onto the Zilean. He's not going to be able to catch up. He needs to turn around and kill this Renekton. The Zilean ult is down, so that he will not have it for when he goes down this time. Oh, but the bomb. The bomb. The Zilean is a hero. Down goes Zed. Right, and...
Oh, this Ziggs is in a very dangerous position. He might get found out by a Jarvan who opts to man drop first, ask questions later.
Oh, but Jarvan, he does not have any MR, and Ziggs just took no damage from that.
Meanwhile, we see Leona being burned on the Zilean on the point. He will go down as Ziggs is opting to fight on the turret, blowing Zhonya's for a little bit of turn damage. You see Pantheon coming up. He's going to get a full combo Ziggs bomb being thrown, and everybody once again falling for the purple.
That Ziggs bomb. And Kayle actually getting ganked by the Zilean down here. The Frostfang, or Ice Queen, excuse me, comes on out and does slow her a little bit, but she is trying to hold her own. She is going to be able to take down that Zilean, but is she going to be able to finish off the LeBlanc? The burst damage is real, and the Zilean bomb will help polish off that kill.
You see Jarvan coming down, trying to probably get a sneaky kill on LeBlanc. We'll see how good her reactions is as she just blew her distortion on the wave.
He's not blowing the EQ. I don't know if he saw her blow that distortion, and down she goes. Meanwhile, back at mid, they're pressuring it pretty hard. The Tibbers does come out and will blow up Pantheon, but Annie will also go down, so Tibbers is no longer there.
Ziggs responding to the Jarvan pressure at bot lane. He will not be able to get that neutral. As the clock is ticking down, we are going to go below 50 points for the purple team. It's time for them to start making something happen.
Oh, and Jarvan missing that EQ combo so close. I've messed that combo up so many times myself. It sometimes gets you when your flag is still on cooldown.
But the Kayle ult for the turnaround, will they be able to have enough damage? Jarvan blowing Cataclysm.
Oh.
And the Cataclysm actually walling the Kayle out of auto attack range. Ziggs choosing to be a man is going to use his satchel to back up after he realizes how strong bot lane farmed carries can be. Zilean is going to go in on his own. He believes he can handle this. Meanwhile, we have LeBlanc killing Leona up top lane along with Pantheon, and the Ziggs bomb is going to come in and get rid of Williaf.
Oh man, that Ziggs bomb is just so scary. And I'm actually curious, when Jarvan cataclysmed the Ziggs, he was in the brush, and the Cataclysm wall was holding out, and I think when Jarvan died, the Kayle lost vision on the Ziggs.
That may have happened as we see Zed shadow onto the Ziggs. The Ziggs have won another great Wooglitz is going to be able to live. There's a bomb over the top as Jarvan gets stunned and CC'd, and he will also fall.
Oh, the burst is real. That damage is just insane, and I think that may be GG as bot lane is getting neutralized and capped as well for
The
blue team.
Tibbers catches Ziggs on the edge as the Annie gets deleted, but that definitely does look like it will be game.
Rampage.
noobBAG and friends will be moving on to the next round.
That was a pretty interesting game. Some very, very good plays by Pantheon going to that mid, keeping that pressure. And then we also had some very nice plays by Williaf's team in the very beginning there, managing to keep that good windmill pressure after they had initially lost the fight. But I really want to see these damage dealt charts. Like this is, and that is exactly what we were thinking it was going to be.
We have Ziggs being the front runner, 40,000 damage Delta champions, 18, 5, and 17, going with that Woogless Witch Cap first directly into Void Staff. That's a very, very high damaging build.
Yeah, and then Red Team didn't respond at all with MR. I mean, Kayle had it, but she's bot lane, and then Leona had it, but she only has an Abyssal. That's not, the good tanky Spirit Visage. And then no one else on the team really had that MR, and they were just getting destroyed when those Ziggs ults were landing on them.
Leona was really being a pal. She opted to get not only the Abyssal for the Annie, but she also got the Locket of the Iron Solar for the team. However, that's just not enough MR as a whole to be able to survive that much magic burst damage, with Zilean bombs and LeBlanc occasionally being up there and just the Ziggs. I felt like Purple Team just disrespected the damage output, and they got thoroughly punished for it.
Yeah, the Locket is normally a really good pickup for tanks when the enemy team has a lot of burst, but it also requires that your team gets a little bit of magic resist themselves, because the shield is affected by your magic resist, and it will compound with your own magic resist when you activate it. But yeah, they really did not pay attention to how much damage that Ziggs was doing, and he very clearly destroyed that game. All right.
Now, real quick, Fancy, what will be the next game that we will be getting into for today?
Let us take a look over at our brackets here, and let me get that up on stream for you guys so you can see it. I believe it is this one. There we go. And let me get a zoom in so everyone can actually see that. Our next game, I actually don't know. Let me see if Gorm is going to tell me. It's not decided yet. So once the brackets actually update, I will be able to fill you guys in on what our next game is going to be. Hopefully we will get that for you soon. We will be cutting the commercial in just a short break, but if you guys have any questions in the chat, feel free to ask them, and myself and Hipeoples will answer them. Also, I think I saw something in the chat. Someone said Hipeoples was a little too low. Is there any way, was he too low to the game sounds, or was he too low compared to me? And the brackets are not fully updated. So there is the Clueless match, Goon Squad, and then Korean Slayers doesn't have a team, as well as Bracket J doesn't have a team, and Bracket K is still missing someone.
What's up, Captain Jungle? We got TSM Turne in the chat. We should be doing, I believe it is, Goon Squad versus Clueless as our next match.
Ooh, that is going to be a really, really good match. That is two top-tier teams are going to be duking it out here. So if you guys want to see some high-level Dominion action, be sure to stick around for the next round. It's going to be good.
We'll have a small, about maybe 5 or so minutes of downtime in between. If there's anything that you don't understand or might want to know about Dominion or the cast, is Peoples being me and Fancy Wolf being the gentleman that's with me, please let us know. Also, let us know how you're feeling tonight. Maybe you want to get something to drink, something to eat. This would be the time to do so.
Indeed. All right, well, we are going to cut to our commercial, and we'll be back with you guys in just a bit.